The 41st millennium burned. Hive fleets darkened the stars, and every world screamed beneath the swarm. The Imperium, fractured and blind, watched its final defenses collapse. On the bridge of a dying battleship above Terra, the High Lords made a choice that would forever stain human history. If we cannot destroy the swarm, we will speak to it. Across the void, Mechanicus Psychers unleashed a forbidden psychic pulse, not a weapon, but a message. For the first time, humanity spoke into the mind of the Hive. 1,000 astropaths died screaming, their skulls aflame, yet one word echoed through the swarm. Parley. The hive mind answered, not with sound, but with hunger shaped into meaning. Every human who heard it felt their blood boil and their thoughts twist. You offer alliance, it whispered. We offer evolution. The choice was made, not by reason, but by extinction's hand. Terra fell silent for 7 days. Then the Emperor's priests emerged with new robes, crimson silk woven with Tyranid chitin. The ecclesiarchy declared, the Hive is his new vessel. Across the stars, humanity knelt, not in prayer, but in surrender. The first contact was made in the ruins of Mars. Bioships descended like angels of rot, spilling rivers of spore and flesh. Instead of attack, they began to build, merging with the red planet's surface, turning metal into muscle. Skitarii warriors watched in awe as their forges pulsed with living heat. 10 years later, humanity was no longer what it once was. Cities grew like coral, and the stars pulsed with living stations. The Adeptus Astartes, horrified yet loyal, took a new gene seed, one that whispered in their dreams. Their oaths changed from, for the Emperor, to for the symbiosis. The custodes refused. They saw the Emperor's body weeping strange ichor on his throne. When the Hive priests approached them with peace, they drew their guardian spears and burned the hybrid temples. The war between flesh and faith began anew, this time within the Imperium itself. From the depths of the Hive came something new, the Neuroimperator, a psychic organism born from the fusion of human and Tyranid DNA, carrying the Emperor's soul within. It spoke in 1,000 voices. I am mankind perfected. Even the warp fell silent for a moment. Planets once human became gardens of bone and crystal. Children were born with eyes like void stars and skin that shifted under light. They no longer needed food, air, or prayer, only the signal of the Hive. The Mechanicus called it the biological singularity. In the deepest vault beneath the golden throne, the Emperor's withered face cracked open, and a single tear, glowing with human memory, fell to the ground. Where it touched, the earth pulsed. The Hive recoiled, sensing something it had never felt before: regret. The Forge worlds could no longer bear the living machine's whisper. Titans made of sinew and bone began to scream in pain as their human pilots rebelled. The skies of Mars split open, red lightning tore through the bioforges, and millions of hybrid tech priests begged for death as the machine's spirit inside them was devoured by the Hive. The Custodes, last guardians of humanity's purity, stood upon the dead soil of Terra and watched their kin mutate into monsters of devotion. They sang ancient hymns of steel and loyalty, the same songs they had sung since the Emperor's birth, and charged into the swarm without fear. Gold met chitin, and the song became silence. The Hive mind trembled. Within its neural oceans it found something alien: emotion. The human soul had infected its patterns, spreading empathy and memory where hunger once ruled. For the first time in eternity, the Tyranid collective felt fear, not of death, but of change. In the heart of Terra's bio-throne, the Neuro-Imperator dreamed. He saw visions of two futures, one of unity, one of extinction. His every breath made the planets quake. To live is to consume, whispered the Hive within him. To love is to evolve, answered the soul of man. Not all fleets accepted the Pact. On the edges of known space, Imperial Navy remnants allied with rogue Astartes and unsullied humans. They formed the Iron Exodus, vowing to purge both Hive and Hybrid. Their ships sailed into the void with a single creed: better to die human than to live devoured. On a distant world, a Hive tyrant paused mid-battle and looked upon a child. Instead of consuming, it knelt, its claws trembling. From its alien eyes fell a drop of fluid that shimmered like tears. The swarm around it hesitated, as if realizing for the first time that mercy was possible. Billions of psychers fused into a single entity known as the Choir of the Forsaken. Their song reached beyond the galaxy, resonating through the warp and the Hive alike. It was neither human nor alien. It was something new. Across the Imperium, battlefields fell silent as every creature turned to listen. Then came the backlash. The Hive mind split against itself, one half seeking domination, the other seeking harmony. The stars themselves became brains of war, neurons firing in storms of plasma. Humanity, now fused to its destroyer, fought inside the mind of a god. The golden throne cracked. The Neuro-Imperator opened his eyes, glowing with both love and hunger. His voice shook every planet. The pact is fulfilled. You are me, and I am devouring you. Half the galaxy bent in worship. The other half screamed in revolt. The end had begun. The sun above Terra turned black. The warp howled. Every saint, every demon, every forgotten god felt their essence fade. In that silence, only the heartbeat of the Hive Imperium remained, slow, monstrous, and eternal. Humanity had become something unholy, something divine, something new. Centuries passed. The Hive Imperium no longer needed speech. Thoughts flowed through the stars as whispers of instinct. Planets pulsed with life, but no longer with individuality. The galaxy had become one colossal organism, each world a cell, each soul a signal. The old names, Terra, Ultramar, Mars, became meaningless. Deep beneath the new flesh of Mars, an ancient cogitator still hummed. It whispered a forgotten name, Omnissiah. The Hive ignored it, but within its decaying circuits flickered a last spark of humanity, a code that remembered the warmth of individuality. That spark began to spread like a virus of memory. For millennia, the warp had been silent, starved by the Hive's dominion. But silence breeds hunger. Reality began to peel as chaos returned, not as gods, but as echoes of emotions long devoured. The new galaxy shuddered as ancient demons awoke inside the Hive's shared consciousness, twisting love into madness once more. Humans began to dream again. Within the unified mind, fragments of individuality returned, forgotten mothers, lost warriors, the memory of laughter. Those dreams became contagious. Soon, entire Hive clusters began to resist the collective will, whispering one forbidden word: freedom. From that rebellion emerged one being, part human, part Hive, part warp-born. She called herself the Dream Queen, carrying both the Emperor's spirit and the Hive mind's code within her. Her presence caused stars to pulse in rhythm. Her eyes were galaxies reflected in sorrow. She became the voice of forgotten souls. The Dream Queen confronted the Neuro Imperator inside the psychic heart of the Hive, a battlefield made of thought and memory. Their duel was not with weapons, but with wills. For every dream she freed, he devoured another. Their struggle lasted centuries, echoing across every human neuron in existence. When their battle ended, the galaxy cracked like glass. Half became light, free minds scattering into the warp like stars reborn. Half became darkness, the Hive tightening its control over what remained. Between them hung a single tear in reality, glowing with both sorrow and beauty. From the tear emerged a new species, neither human nor Tyranid, but something beyond both. They called themselves the Post-Hive, beings of shifting light and bioenergy who traveled the stars not to conquer, but to remember. They carried within them every story humanity ever lived. On the ruins of ancient Terra, now a quiet living moon, a single structure remained, the broken shell of the Golden Throne. Inside it grew a single flower, golden and alive. It pulsed softly, whispering an ancient phrase that the galaxy had forgotten. For the Emperor. Eons passed. The Hive Imperium became legend, then myth. Yet somewhere in the warp, among the echoes of what once was, a song still plays. The sound of humanity daring to make peace with the monsters it feared. In that song lies the final truth of Warhammer's endless war. Even in devouring, there can be creation.